Millions buy a $40 fire kit with a fancy rod and feel prepared. You built a better one for $2, and you can make dozens. Pack a handful of treated cotton balls into an old pill bottle. That's weeks of reliable fire writing in your pocket for pennies. You keep one in every bag. Store the jar sealed. Keep your lighters right beside it. You always want 2 ways to make fire. Most people never connect these 2 aisles. You just did. That's the whole game right there. 1 glob of jelly, 1 cotton ball, 4 minutes of flame that starts your fire when it counts. Everybody tells you real prepping costs a fortune. That's the lie that keeps you unprepared. The gear industry sells you $1,000 kits and freeze-dried buckets because fear pays well. But look at what you're already holding. Wound dressings, water treatment, fire, protein. None of it broke $20. Dollar store goods aren't junk when you know which ones to trust. The food, the treatment, the hygiene, the medical, all rock solid. You skip the flimsy tools and stack the consumables deep. That's not being cheap. That's being trained. Stay on fire. You grab lighters. You grab Strike Anywhere matches, a pack of each for $1.25. Your homemade tinder is useless without a spark, so you buy the spark in bulk. Here's the rule we lived by downrange. 1 is none. 2 is 1. Redundancy keeps you alive. A single lighter fails you. It gets wet. It runs dry. It walks off in someone's pocket. So you don't own 1 lighter. You own 10. Scattered through your kit, your car, your coat, your kitchen. Dollar Tree sells them in multi-packs. You stack 20 lighters for the price of 1 steak dinner. Matches back them up. You waterproof a box by sealing the heads in wax or a zip bag. Now you've got 2 independent ways to make fire. When 1 fails, you're not even worried. Civilians carry 1 nice fancy lighter and feel ready. Then it fails at the worst possible moment. You carry cheap redundancy everywhere you go. When 1 dies, you reach for the next without a blink. Think about everything fire does for you. It cooks your food. It boils your water safe when the bleach runs low. It holds off the cold that kills. It signals rescue. It keeps morale up on a black, freezing night. None of that happens without a spark. So you make the spark the cheapest thing you overstock. Stash lighters in every bag in every room. You want fire within arm's reach no matter where you are. This is the cheapest insurance in the whole store. You buy far more than you think you'll need. Because the day you need fire, you'll need it bad. And you'll be glad you have 20 ways to make it. Keep 1 lighter on your body at all times. Your kit does you no good sitting in the other room. You carry fire the way you carry your keys. It rides with you, always, no exceptions. You grab canned vegetables. You grab canned beans, corn, green beans, mixed veg, black beans. $1.25 a can. Here's a trap people fall right into. They stock a mountain of rice and nothing else. Live on pure starch for weeks, and your body sends you the bill. Fatigue, weakness, wounds that won't heal. Canned vegetables close that gap for you. Vitamins, minerals, and fiber in every single can. Canned beans stack protein on top. And they come already cooked. No fuel, no soaking, no waiting. Don't dump the liquid down the drain. It carries nutrients. You cook with it. Nothing gets wasted. These store for years and need 0 prep. You open the can. You eat it cold if you have to. Civilians think calories alone equal survival. They don't. Balance is what keeps you standing. A store of only starch quietly wrecks your health while your belly feels full. That's the slow trap. You dodge it by stacking a wide range of cans. Variety keeps people eating instead of choking down the same bowl. Think about the kids and the older folks in your house. They fade fastest on a poor diet. Real vitamins keep them healthy. You protect them for $1.25 a can. Buy the beans and the veg by the case. They're the cheapest health insurance on the shelf. Here's the quiet math. A single can a day can be the difference between fading and staying strong. You want that edge over weeks and months. So you stack these boring cans high. Boring, cheap, and shelf-stable. Boring is exactly what carries you through a long emergency. You feed your family real nutrition on the same tiny budget. That's a win most preppers miss. Check every can before you store it. You look for dents on the seam and any bulge in the lid. A swollen can is spoiled and you throw it out. You only stack cans that are clean and sealed tight. Now one, nobody buys for survival. Dental floss, 1 spool, $1.25. Stay with me on this. This is the strongest cord per penny in the entire building. A single spool holds tens of yards of high tensile nylon line in a package smaller than your fist. Think about what strong string really does for you in a crisis. It's not about your teeth anymore. You lash a shelter together with it. You rig a snare to catch small game. You hang your food up off the ground, away from animals. You tie down a load that won't stay put. You fix torn gear. You sew a ripped pack back together. Field medics have even used floss as improvised suture thread. Count those up: cordage, snare, fishing line, repair thread, and stitching. 5 jobs from 1 spool. Compare that to a pack of paracord at the outdoor store. $10 for a fraction of the length. Civilians never think of floss as gear. They walk past 30 yards of survival cord at every checkout. You don't. You grab 3 spools and drop 1 in every bag you own. They weigh almost nothing and cost almost nothing, so there's no reason not to overstock. Waxed floss is even better for you. The wax helps it grip a knot and shrug off water. Here's the mindset. The best survival gear is often the cheapest thing hiding in plain sight. You train your eye to see it. A spool of floss stops being dental care and becomes a toolkit. 1 tiny spool. A dozen honest uses. That's the definition of a smart, cheap prep. You'll reach for this more than half the expensive gear people brag about. Buy several. You grab first aid. Adhesive bandages, gauze pads, medical tape, and a tube of antibiotic ointment. $1.25 each. Here's what people badly underestimate. In a crisis, a small cut is not small. No clinic, no antibiotics on demand. A minor wound gets infected and turns into a real threat fast. So you stop it early. You clean the wound. You cover it. You keep it sealed against dirt. That antibiotic ointment is the piece most people skip. It's what keeps a scrape from going septic. Gauze and tape handle the bigger stuff your bandages can't cover. You layer them, hold pressure, wrap it tight. Dollar Tree sells all of it cheap. So, you build a deep kit for a few dollars, not 50. Civilians buy 1 pre-made kit with a dozen bandages and call it done. That runs out on day 2. You stock a whole drawer instead. Boxes of bandages, rolls of gauze, multiple tubes of ointment. Think about a house full of scared, busy people during a crisis. Cuts and scrapes happen constantly. Every one of them is a doorway for infection. You close that door fast, every time. Infection is one of the quiet killers of a long crisis. It doesn't look dramatic. It just spreads. You cut that risk to almost nothing for the price of a fast food combo. That's a bargain. Add a few pairs of cheap gloves while you're there. You keep a wound clean and yourself protected. Restock it after every use. An empty kit helps nobody. You keep it full and you keep it close. Deep, cheap, and boring again. But this drawer is what keeps a scratch from becoming a funeral. You handle the small stuff so it never grows into the big stuff. That's how trained people think. Stop and count what you're holding. 9 items in. Look hard at the kit you've built. You can dress a bleeding wound. You can make water safe. You can start a fire in the rain. You've got protein for the panic hours and vegetables for the long haul. You've got a medical drawer. That's not a shopping bag anymore. That's a plan. And you're barely over $10 deep. If you want the whole cheap stockpile mapped out the way I'd build it, that same guide is linked in the description to keep offline. You're halfway home. The back half is where the real edge lives. Now the backbone. You grab rice. You grab dried beans. You grab pasta. $1.25 a bag. These are the cheapest dense calories in the store. Nothing beats them per dollar. Sealed dry and cool, white rice keeps for decades. It barely ages at all. Rice and beans together aren't a random combo. They give you all 9 essential amino acids. That's complete protein from 2 of the cheapest foods on earth. That's why every serious storage program leans on it. Pasta rounds it out. It cooks fast. It fills bellies. And kids will actually eat it without a fight. Here's the catch, so you know it going in. These need fuel and water to cook. That's exactly why you stocked fire and water treatment first. See how the whole list stacks together? Every item sets up the next one. You built the tools to cook before you bought the food. Civilians grab the fancy freeze-dried buckets at $50 a pop. You build the same calorie floor for a few dollars. You take that saved money and buy 10 times the food. That's the trained trade, every time. Buy several bags of each, then you seal them in a container against bugs and moisture. A cheap plastic tote turns loose bags into a long-term reserve. You protect what you paid for. One bag of rice feeds a lot of hungry days. It's the floor everything else stands on. You can live a long time on this. You just add the cans and the veg so you live well, not barely. Stack it deep and stack it early. When money gets tight or the shelves go bare, this floor holds you up. That's a whole lot of survival for a handful of dollars. You'd be a fool to skip it. Grab a few cheap bouillon cubes while you're in the aisle. They turn plain rice into something people want to eat. Flavor is what keeps a family eating when the food gets dull. You protect morale one cheap cube at a time. You grab super glue. The little 2-pack of tubes, $1.25. Here's a fact most people don't know. The glue in that tube has a battlefield history. Cyanoacrylate, the stuff superglue is made of, was used to close wounds on soldiers in Vietnam. Medics sealed bleeding cuts with it when stitches weren't an option. It bought time and it saved lives. The modern medical version is the same chemistry, just refined. Your local emergency room still uses it today. So, in a crisis, you close a small clean cut with a drop of it. You pinch it, dab it, hold it shut. Think about how often you split a fingertip or crack a heel doing hard manual work. It slows you down for days. A drop of this seals it, and you keep moving. That's real capability from a craft aisle tube. And it fixes gear too. A cracked buckle, a split boot sole, a busted tool handle. One tube, many saves. Count the uses: wound closure, blister repair, and 100 gear fixes. All from pocket change. Civilians never look at glue as field medicine. You know better now. You see the same thing a medic sees. A 2-pack costs almost nothing and rides in every kit you own. It weighs next to nothing. Now a straight word of caution, because I won't steer you wrong. Use it on clean, minor wounds only. Deep or dirty